You got no guts, Negan told Spencer, but I think you need a lot of guts if you're able to sit through The Walking Dead Season 7 because a lot of it is absolutely gutless. Welcome back, guys, to Fog Entertainment. Now, is all of Season 7 bad? I'm not going to sit here and say that. I'm not going to say it's like the worst season I've ever seen in television history. I'm not going to say that I hate every single moment of it. In fact, actually, I think there's been quite a lot of decent stuff in the opening half of Season 7. But with the good stuff, you get the really bad stuff, and the really bad stuff seems to weigh down what is good.
Absolutely. You know what? Too much hatred for Jeffrey Dean Morgan and Negan, right? Let's just say Negan was, the cast for Negan, right, was some run-of-the-mill, mundane, journeyman actor that never made it, and say he was shit. How much worse would this be? I actually think they struck gold with Jeffrey Dean Morgan, right? I don't think he's the greatest actor of all time, not really, right? But could you imagine if he sucked? Could you imagine if this guy's casting ruined the character? How much worse this would actually be?
You do get a lot of bad casts that ruin characters, so...
Yeah, but it might not be as noticed because they're not as an integral part of the show. One thing they had to get right was the casting of Negan, and for me they did, right? The problem with this season is just Negan is too bad to become one of the good guys. It's the Avengers Endgame pish for,
I don't think that's the problem because we don't know what's going to happen yet.
No, we don't, but at this stage...
You're talking with hindsight. You can't factor what's happening in spin-offs.
Yeah, I know, but I'm talking later down the line. That's why that's why I actually haven't mind to start of Season 7, but I'm talking later down the line.
Yeah, you can't come up to that conclusion because that's with hindsight. It's not happened yet.
I know it's not happened yet. I'm nobody in Season 7.
You did, you just said the problem with it. You said the problem with Season 7 is Negan is too bad to become good. I think at this point, watching, you're not expecting him to become a good guy. You're expecting him to meet his demise sooner rather than later.
Yeah, but this is what people
Is that your main concern? You're sitting there going, fuck. I don't know if Negan can ever join Team
Good.
No,
but that is why people think that's why people think this show got ruined, because they made Negan so bad and then they made him good. You needed the comeuppance of Negan, in my opinion, to make all this torture against the Alexandrians worth it. And we know in the long run you don't get that. You get him thrown in a wee prison cell and
Why ain't judging Season 7 by that? Because that happens later on.
Yeah, so. But that's why a lot of people tuned out. I mean, I made a vid yesterday, like 10 great things you missed if you stopped watching The Walking Dead. And like, number one was Father Gabriel becomes a better character. I mean, what? What's that all about, man?
You say that, but most people tuned out towards the end of Season 8 before the war was even over. So they didn't even know if Negan was going to get his comeuppance or not. I disagree. I think people tuned out because it was shite. I don't think it had anything to do with whether Negan was killed or put in jail or what.
We can agree to disagree, but regardless, the introduction of Negan saw a downward spiral of the ratings. Speaking of downward spirals, Gregory, he was top man in the Hilltop. Now he's just a guy throwing apples to Maggie. So there's a wee bit of interaction here, and to me it doesn't make much sense because the guy on the wall, whose name, I don't think, Eduardo actually, that's his name. Don't know where I've plopped that from. I'll tell you where, the Wikipedia. He's like, come on, man, she's pregnant. Right? This only works. It only works.
It's the last apple.
Yeah, but the Hilltop's doing quite well. I mean, let's not pretend they've got no food. Why should Gregory have to give up this apple to Maggie? There was no hint.
Would Negan give up the last apple to a pregnant woman if it wasn't one of his wives?
I don't think he would. But this ain't the last apple, and also there's no hint. It's like, here, Maggie's been on the wall all day and she hasn't ate. So Gregory, how about you actually put some labour in and you give her an apple?
Look, for all we know, Maggie'd already ate 10 apples an hour ago.
Yeah.
Now she did say, "Are you going to eat that?" Which would maybe suggest she's hungry.
I think it's more of a.
I think it's just to try and make
a show of power.
Like shit.
Aye, and also that, I mean, she's like, oh, I'm taking over, last episode, the slap. I think Gregory's been done dirty.
Well,
why didn't he was promised a fucking deal that's went sour?
Why didn't Gregory show power and be like, I am going to eat actually and take a big chunk of it?
That's what he fucking should have done. I would have respected that. I would have liked that, damn it. But we cut to Alexandria and Negan. He's enjoying a shave. He's making spaghetti. You've got Livia. You've got Carl. He's like, yeah, Carl, you shave like this. Then they're sitting there, but there's an empty seat. Rick's no there. Where's Rick? I made him spaghetti. But obviously, Rick's no appearing. Negan looks a wee bit different with... I don't know, Negan's weird. I think he looks a lot older with the beard.
Rick doesn't want Negan's spaghetti. He wants Aaron's sausage. So either it on a mission a dual mission.
Are you sure you can do this, Aaron? Can your ass withstand the canoe?
You know what? I just can't see at this point. I could have accepted this in season 6. I don't think I can accept Rick belittling Aaron after that shite that we seen in the opener in the season 6 finale.
Yeah. Rick says his point was, I know you can do it, but I don't want to put your life in danger if you're not in agreeance with we having to give Negan all this stuff.
Hold on, you already put his life in danger when you fucking tried to take out the Saviors, so originally, so...
Yeah, I just don't get this logic for Rick, because it's like, I don't think there's anyone in Alexandria, maybe apart from Spencer.
Every move you make is putting someone's life in danger.
No, of course it is, but the problem with Rick's logic here is, it's like, no one's happy about what they have to do, but they're doing it.
Yeah, but let's say Rick was like, fuck it, we're going to fight the Saviors, he'd be putting Aaron's life in danger then.
Yeah, they get there, there's a note that says, you still lose even if you win all my guns. So there's no bullets.
Yeah, so they have to get across like this little boat, they manage to get into a canoe, Rick makes it in, Aaron gets pulled into the water, he manages to survive, no bites, how convenient. Because I think we're just at the point where no character with a name is going to die for a zombie bite. We're just beyond that. The people will point. I mean, what was actually the last episode where someone probably died? But even then, like, seeing you think about it, I'm thinking, yeah, you had that guy that they introduced for like half an episode in the season 6 premiere. I think they literally just did that to show you that, you know, he wasn't up to scratch. I wouldn't count him. I'm on about characters that have actually been... So characters that have had multiple episodes. The last one to die a zombie bite is probably Noah. And even then, that wasn't really a zombie, Scott. That was more of a, here...
Trapped dead alive.
But we need to make Nicholas look like an arsehole who allowed that to happen. What was the last character to like die of a zombie bite? Like a fucking Dale, for example? Or a Jim?
Tyrese?
That's probably it.
Before that, maybe Andrea. I mean, there's probably a few people that we're missing here, but no, you're right. I mean, obviously Carl, he will die soon, but I think everyone's in agreement about how much of a fucking mess that is, so...
I mean, yeah, just in terms of characters dying, you just... Like, the position that Rick and Aaron were in was a very dangerous position. They were trying to get across this, like, swamp-like fucking lake that was filled with walkers, and this should have felt like a... Oh, these characters are in real danger. But you just didn't feel that.
And it's Aaron, right? You know, at this point, he's like the biggest C. Well, he's probably a D-lister, like he likes to do. But, I mean, come on. It's like, you're right. I mean, season 7, we're talking about a guy that's been in the show 3 seasons. He feels like a fucking diddy, man. And there was no threat. There was nothing. Walker's just... They had to make survivors put Walker's faces on them to make them feel a bit fucking more interesting later down the line. It's like, you know, you look at other TV shows, it's like, see when you had like a big meeting in like season 1 between like, you know, groups, and then you had one in season 5, it still felt like, oh, the tensions are there. It's not like just because you're 5 seasons in down the line to like drug deals, it's automatically like, oh, there's less of a threat here. I don't know why Walkers have become less of a threat.
Yeah, but you don't understand the whole point of the show. The Walkers aren't the real threat. The people are the real threat. Well, listen, see when Rick's group met new people in the earlier seasons, they felt like threats.
Yeah.
Just because the Walkers were the main threat. Like, look at when they met that Mexican group that was at the care home. That felt like a threat.
Yeah, but if you look at like Breaking Bad,
Dave and Tony in the bar, right? Walkers were the main threat, but Dave and Tony still felt like, oh fuck, you know, these are two.
Yeah, but if you look at Breaking Bad, you get Walter and Jesse meeting with Tuco in like season 1. It felt like on edge, but then like in season 5, you've got the whole meeting with Uncle Jack and his gang and like Hank and Gummy, and that's on edge. It's like those meetings don't lose their, you know, fear factor. But I feel like in The Walking Dead, like they just have. It's like the Walkers are just an inconvenience. It's like, oh, what if we had enough of this episode? Walker kills. We need to kill Walkers. And you're right. I mean, they managed to get the stuff. They bring it back. We'll revisit. Carol's in her cottage reading. She hears a noise outside. It's Morgan. In steps Richard. Richard's like, the Saviours. You need to kill them because Ezekiel doesn't realise, but he trusts you and he loves you. So you need to tell him.
He tells Carol that she knows about the Saviours and he knows that she doesn't know shit.
Yeah.
What does Carol know about the Saviours?
Fuck all.
Then he's saying, look, and we need you to step up. He says to
We
Carol...
need fighters. I know you might not know too much about that. Carol Morgan's like, she's the best fighter in this room. Fuck off.
I mean, just what a load of pish, man. Morgan said it with a straight face as well. Who honestly thinks... It's just a joke.
See, based off like the amount of training that Morgan's went into in flashbacks with Eastman and shit, I would say Morgan in this room is quite comfortably the best fighter. But Carol has just been so fucking forced.
But even Richard looks like he could do something. Richard's a fucking... Let's be honest, Richard's a man that is like... If he's not in this... He's a grown adult that isn't over the hill. Let's put it that way.
Aye.
He's a grown adult man that isn't over the hill.
He's making the ascend, but he's not over the hill.
And then you've got fucking fragile Carol who's built like a fucking toothpick that, you know,
built like that boat that Aaron and fucking Rick.
Aye, falling apart.
Holes in it.
You know, spent her entire life getting bullied by her husband, and we're supposed to believe that's the best fighter. Couldn't he go and look for a fucking daughter?
What would have been realistic if Richard turned around and said, well, if she's our best fighter, we're fucked then?
Aye, that's it.
No, that would have been realistic.
And just Richard to walk out and be like, right, well, sorry.
No, but just put it in person. Look at the amount of TV shows across the years. Like, you know, imagine like if the wife of like one of the guys in a crew, oh, she's the real fighter. They'd be like, what are you fucking? What are you staying then? What MC are you part of, brother? You know what I mean? Like, what?
Nah, it's fucking like retarded. It would have been like Sons of Anarchy. Some fucking chick Fidiosa walks into a meeting or something like that, and I don't know, you've got fucking Chibs going, Jackson, brother, we need you. You're the best fighter here. And Jackson's like, actually, nah, I see her fucking 4 over there. She's actually the best.
We need to change some bylaws, brother. You know what I mean?
No, it's just dumb.
Yeah.
Carol's not the best fighter.
Right, Daryl manages to escape. He kills Fat Joey. The scene where he ate the peanut butter with his fingers lasted too long. Adam probably enjoyed it. So did Jesus probably. So did Eric. They all enjoyed it. But he kills Fat Joey. Justified? I think to a degree it's justified. No.
I think it was unnecessary because Fat Joey was letting him leave.
Yeah, he was only saving his own fat neck, wasn't he, at the end of the day? Reality is, they're going to know Daryl's gone.
Hold on, the guy had a fucking gun on.
True. But, he's you know, they're going to know Daryl's gone at one point, so what you could argue is like, you could just, like, tie him up. Because they're not knowing where Daryl's going. You know what I mean? Like, they're going to find the cell empty and be like, well, you know what, he's went somewhere, regardless if he kills Fat Joey. Where's Daryl away to? The hilltop. Rick and Aaron.
Yeah, but you say justified, like, would it, I just don't think he'd have done this to, he wouldn't have done this to a female. That a rat person would have been a more justified kill.
No, absolutely.
Right,
yeah.
would he have done it to her?
No, of course not. Yeah, like Fat Joey seems like...
Just seems like he's a fucking prisoner, don't you, really?
He seems like he's been pressurised into it.
He just
Peer
seems
pressuring.
Just seems like a guy that's been there and risen through the ranks because he's survived long enough.
Yeah, you had Michonne with
Doesn't look like he takes pleasure in any of the shit that happens, though.
You had Michonne, the female saviour, took her to the sanctuary. They looked down the hill. I'm Negan. It's just very boring rhetoric, and I mean, Michonne is very fucking boring. Just sitting there,
basically
pointing the gun at her.
What we got from this was here. Negan's that compound's full of Negan. That compound's full of everywhere is Negan. No matter where you go, left, right, centre, we're all Negan.
This is nothing we didn't already know.
Yeah, and then it's not like she's revealing it for the first time. And then it basically tells Michonne here, I've got a gun or something. Put me in the trunk and hide the car, and basically just says, "Aye, kill me and get it over with." It's like, what the fuck is going on here?
No, it makes no sense, right? Out on the road, when they can literally be themselves, they're all like, you know, fucking Negan this, Negan that. But back in the sanctuary, they all act like, you know, not all of them act scared of him, but you can clearly see, like, they all bow down to him, and it's like, surely you think when they've got this freedom and he's not around, like, what if this female saviour was speaking bad about Negan here? What's Michonne gonna do? Fucking tell Negan?
Probably offer a spot in Alexander.
You know, just, come on, Spencer, he puts his best gear on, he cleans up his house, he then speaks with Negan, they're drinking some whiskey or whatever. Negan's like, you know what? It's time to play some 8-ball, but not in the garage, out in the street. So they carry the pool table out there, they're playing. Spencer's laying it on thick about Rick. He's like, you know, Rick's not a good leader, he hates you. And
my mom used to lead this place. She was better. And then Rick came, my mom died, my brother died, my dad died. Negan's like, damn, Rick showed up and you became an orphan.
You became an orphan, little
Saddest story I've ever heard.
boy. Rick hates me, but he swallowed his pride and he's out there getting stuff for me. What are you doing? I
respect that.
You know what? Spencer was out there getting stuff as well.
I know, Spencer just returned to getting stuff.
No, let's be honest though, right? Rick's also pathetic. He bows down to Negan, and as soon as the truck left in episode 4, he called out Spencer then. In my opinion, Rick and Spencer are just as bad as each other here.
Yeah, so Negan...
Like you could argue Spencer's actually, you got more respect for Spencer because he's going to Negan. About Rick. Rick was just going to Spencer about Negan.
So then Negan turns round, basically says like, Rick's doing what I need him to do, and you're what you doing? You know, coming to me, trying to get him killed, which he never said. I don't believe he ever says, here, take out Rick and make me leader.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe he wanted to lead, but I don't recall him telling Negan that he needs to kill Rick in order for that to happen. And Negan says to him, you got no guts. And then he stabs him with a big knife and just like slits his, intestines out right across his stomach. Everyone just watches on gasping. Spencer falls down. His intestines come out, his guts come out, dies. Negan's like, oh, that's embarrassing. He does, in fact, have guts. I have never been more wrong. And he's got blood on his face. And it's like, you know what? 1 minute, the guy is, like, charismatic and he's, like, pretending to, like, care and stuff or acting like he cares. But then he does things like this. And this just seems like such an unnecessary kill.
Yeah. Basically, killing Spencer for what? Because Spencer wanted Rick out the road. I mean, he could have
done something else to make his point here.
See if Rick wasn't the main character, right? Why would Negan not want Spencer?
Well, he was fucking saying how much he liked him.
Yeah, and Negan said, "Oh, I would not have messed with that guy." When he saw Rick with a beard, right? Negan knows deep down that Rick is to be messed with. Not to be messed with because he has killed 50 of his men previously. He should be like, you know what? Rick's led these people. He's done this and he's done that. Spencer is like his mother, who was weak and Rick took over. I need somebody weak in charge. Now, you could argue, well, Rick goes out and gets stuff from Negan, but how long is that going to last? I think it's very fucking naive in Negan to think that Rick and this group are just going to get stuff from for the rest of the time. They're clearly the group they've had the most problems with. But yeah, Spencer's dead. Rosita whips out her gun, shoots Lucille, fade to black. What the shit? Shit! I mean, it's like, really? Rosita misses for fucking point blank range.
Yeah, I mean, you see how good a shot these people are, and then she's got a great opportunity to kill Negan.
You just tried to kill me. You shot Lucille. She'll never
All of
be
a sudden,
the same.
that's when the accuracy goes off, and Negan says, well, she can't be the same. If her pretty face is going to be marked, then so is yours. And a rat then pulls Rosita down. Again, it's almost just like... It's just fucking weird that it's almost like any violence against the women has to be done by a fellow woman.
Yep.
Even though these are bad guys.
Yeah, it's like back to back, a rat, slices Rosita and then shoots Olivia.
It's like...
Aaron got bummed as well by most of the saviours here.
Yeah, a lot of the saviours beat up Aaron, but like... Why would it be so fucking wrong if, like, let's say Simon was there and he was the one that sliced Rosita and shot Olivia? Like, why would that... Honestly, man, it's almost like...
You've got the whole thing with Michonne, and why can't that be... I mean, name me a member of Rick's group that's a man, but could you imagine if a man was holding a woman at gunpoint for the saviours? Oh, we don't want to make them look sympathetic. Has to be Michonne doing that.
If that's like... Who's left? Fuck me, second in command's probably Aaron, isn't it? What's that guy that was dating Carol for a bit? I don't know if he did or not, actually. The guy that was working on the building yard.
Tobin?
See if it was Tobin, he'd probably come off as, like, the bad guy. Because he's a much larger person, he's a man, like, holding a woman. But at the end of the day, it's like, fuck it, that shit doesn't matter. It's about what group's the antagonist here and what group's the protagonist?
It's so funny when you see these agendas and they push equality, but the reality is they don't push equality.
No, on one hand they want to tell you, all these women are just as good as fighters, or all these women are they're just as capable, they're warriors. But then, like, you see when it comes to somebody getting Lucille'd, or when it comes to someone getting beat up. Like the only way a female on this show will get beat up if it's by a fellow female. It's very weird that.
No, it is. But Rosita admits to it. Then Tara admits to it. Negan calls bullshit. And then that's when we see Olivia get killed. No one cared. Why would a rat turn round and shoot Olivia when there was like 50 people she could have shot?
Was it maybe to give you that split second where you thought maybe she was going to shoot Coral?
But then would Negan have wanted that? Obviously not.
Yeah, but Negan says shoot somebody.
Yeah, but I think if she shot Carl here, man, he'd have fucking...
Well, what
would Rick have done?
Well, I mean...
apparently Rick would do nothing, actually, because he's just a little bitch.
No, but what could Negan really do to a rat? If he tells her, shoot anyone you want...
Maybe it's in the briefing room for the Saviors, he's like, right, you can't kill these people.
Well, why not say shoot anybody you want except from...
Yeah, I don't know, but Eugene, the Rika Pish, brings Negan's nose right to him. He's like, "Is it you, boy?" And I put the M449.
You got Eugene just sniffling like, and it's like, what a fucking loser.
I hate this. See the fact this guy's got like more episodes combined than if you like fucking add like, like Walter White and fucking Jax Teller's episode count combined. That's fucking rank rotten. So you actually think of it, that's rank rotten.
I just see no universe where this guy becomes a great character. I really don't. I don't.
No, neither me. No, but Negan takes him, and then Negan's like, fed him spaghetti. He says that to Carl. Rick then is left alone. He kills Spencer. Then we cut this like fucking shitey, happy montage after Rick and Michonne have like a 2-second conversation. I know that now. We should still fight even though they got the numbers. Then, oh, they hug. Oh, and like they all march up towards the big house at the hilltop like they've won. Hold on here. You've got the exact same number advantage as you did back in fucking season 7, episode 1 and 2. It's like, what's happened here? You haven't won a battle. You haven't won nothing. You've just decided to stop greeting. You're going to fight back. Oh, and by the way, you gave up all your guns.
Yeah, so you're in an even worse position.
Yeah, you're right. So, no, what
are they fighting back with?
Well, yeah, like the 4 guns that Rick and Aaron found that they took, I think. So, I just don't get this scene. It's like, Spencer died, Rosita got cut, Olivia died, Eugene's been kidnapped, and it's like, the guy who could have made you bullets, he's gone. And what's to be happy about? Yeah, right, Daryl's back in the group, right? But surely that's just going to make Negan arrive so quick. Like, where the fuck's Daryl? I didn't get this ending. It was almost like, here, we need to end this mid-season on a wee happy note so they come back for episode 9.
Yeah, but like, for this to happen, you'd think there'd need to be like a sign for Rick, maybe to see a bit of a chink in the armor of Negan or something, a weakness.
Right.
And we didn't see that. We just seen Negan do what he always does: take half your shit, kill a couple of members of Rick's group, leaves, and then just because Rick has a shitty little boring conversation with Michonne, which the dialogue was fucking terrible, by the way. And all of a sudden now he believes that he can now take on Negan. Make it make sense.
Michonne, whatever you want to call her, man. She's fucking shite. Anyway, I'll give this
hate
episode...
them. And then also, Richard said that Richard's offence with Negan in the Kingdom was different from how Negan and most groups normally meet.
Yeah, he put it on thick as if, they fear the sequel, so they cut him a better deal.
That's what he said. No, we always thought that Negan always killed one of the group members, but Richard made clear that wasn't the case.
Is it a case that maybe that portion of the Saviors are the only ones that know?
That's the logic. I imagine Negan would want to be there. No, would he not be there for every killing? No.
I don't know, just very weird, you're right. It's like, why were they putting over Ezekiel's fighting about
Richard basically said that Negan feared the numbers and Negan feared Ezekiel's fighting capabilities, and therefore they cut them a better deal, and they agreed not to step foot in the Kingdom. So the Saviors aren't even allowed in the Kingdom.
Yeah.
And that's why they do their meets, like, out of the Kingdom. But, like, if he fears them that much, why didn't, like, Ezekiel just go, he ain't getting half of our fucking shit?
It's not, it's plain retarded.
Because when you look at the groups, like, the Kingdom probably does look like the only group that you would give a chance.
But they've got no guns. Part for a few.
So it's like, you know, I mean...
Yeah, but look at then what, he killed everyone at Oceanside? Even kids over 10?
It just doesn't make that much sense.
Where's the logic? So what, Ezekiel's that feared? But then, I don't know. I don't even know, right? I'm going to give
You got a tiger.
I'm going to give him a 6 out of 10.
I will imagine if it's... Hell, do you think maybe the reason Negan won't step inside the kingdom is because fucking Carol's there?
Maybe. She's the
greatest fighter.
The greatest fighter of all time. Anyway, guys, 6
Could just be actually a writing ploy just to not have
that 6.
I'm a fuck. I'm giving it a 5.
5.5 out of 10. We're back very soon. Till next time.